At the end of the last video, we were just talking about number 7 and how average growth rate is the same thing as rate of change, which is the same thing as slope. So they're basically asking us for slope here. So that means we need to write the slope formula that we learned in chapter or module 6. And that's going to come into play. So anytime you see words like average growth, average rate of change, average length, average speed, they want to know the rate of change. And what does rate of change mean? Slope. So that's why we write this. So now we have to figure out our two order pairs. So we have 1965, 137 inches. And time is 99.9% of the time going to be your x. They don't always give you these in the proper order, by the way. You'll see a problem coming up shortly that they don't. So you can't just assume this is your x, this is your y. But if you're trying to decide which is which, time is x. So if time is ever in the problem, it's your x. 6 months, that's time. That's my x. 1965, that's time. That's my x. So that's how you can guide yourself in knowing what's x and what's y. So time is 1965, and in 1965 it was 137 inches. And I remember in the past students go, well, how did you know to make 2 points? Well, if I need rate of change, which means slope, I find slope by doing the second y minus the first y over the second x minus the first x. So just from what the problem asks, I write that. I go, oh, slope formula. Oh, I need a second y, a first y, a second x, and a first x. So that's how you can figure out if you why you need to make points. So just in case you were asking yourself that, that's why. So next, our time is 2005 and 141. And it's a really good idea because I'm going to have you write a sentence about these. It's a really good idea to make sure that you label this. So this is years and this is inches. So I'm going to have you do 5 things with these. So first, I want you to write your order pair. Second, we need to do what the problem asks, find the rate of change. So we do second y. So let's call this rate of change. Second y, 141, minus the first y, 137. Remember how slope starts with the y's? Because we're used to always doing everything alphabetically, but slope starts with y's. And then second x minus the first x. And that's going to give us 4 over 2005 minus 1965 is 40. And just like any other fraction, slope always has to be simplified. So these are both divisible by 4, so we can write 1/10. Okay, now this is where the last section, before what the pages we did before this, help us with the label. Remember on the candy store problem, we said it's y per x when you go to label it. So anytime you're labeling rate of change, you always have to remember it's y per x. And that's why I had you label these. This is the year, this is the inches, year, inches. So y per x would be inches per year, or since this is a fraction, it'd be 1/10 inch per year. And how do I know that's the label? Because we learned with the candy store problem that rate of change is always labeled with the Y units, the word per in the middle, and then with the X units, which in this case is year. Okay, so that's the third thing I want you to do, label slope correctly. And then I would like you to write a sentence. So this is when it's helpful to come back and look at this. Find the average growth of a sequoia tree, because usually we try to use some of those words when we write our sentence. So we could say the average growth rate was, and then we put our answer in, 1/10 of an inch per year. And then you can go to the page behind this and cross out 1/10. And then you can go to the page behind that and cross out inch per year. So each time you find something, cross it out, and then you'll be able to check your work as you do it. So after we do these first couple, I recommend that you turn off probably 8 will get us at the end of this video. And then before you watch the next video, go ahead and try 9 through, how many are there? 14? Yeah, 9 through 14 on your own and see how you do, because you have the answers. The 2 pages behind this contain the answers. So as you find them, just cross them off. Okay, so I did number him just to make them easier to refer to. This whole problem was a big problem 7, but it's easier just to number. So let's call this 7, 8, and then 9, 10, and so on. Okay, let's read 8 and see what it tells us. So we're looking for buzzwords like, what is the growth rate? What is the rate of change? What is the speed? So we're looking for words like that. So 6 months after you joined a gym, you spent a total of $305. So the reason I underline this is because this is time. This is what goes with that time. At 15 months, there's time, and this is what goes with that time. Find the average rate of change. So the minute I see that, an average rate of change, you can write it as AROC, or you can just call it rate of change, either way. And let's go ahead while we're here and write rate of change. Average rate of change is the same thing as rate of change, which is the same thing as slope. So they're all the same. So when we go to write our formula here, y, second y, minus the first y over the second x minus the first x. So now we need our points. So let's see and follow that advice that I gave you on the last problem. 99.9% of the time, x is your time. So there's my time. So that's going to be my x. And it looks like your total spent is going to be your y. So there's my first order pair, 6, 305. And then the second order pair, there's my time, so that's my x, and here's the total spent, y. So x is 15 and y is 575. And as I said before, you really do want to label these. So this was 6 months, right? Yep. So this is months. And the y is total spent in dollars. So total spent in dollars. Okay. So that will help us when we label our rate of change, and it'll also help us when we go to write our sentence. So AROC, or average rate of change, or rate of change, or slope, whatever you want to call it. I'm just using the words for the problem. This problem asked us for average rate of change, so that's why I'm using that. So second y, 575, minus my first y, 305, over my second x, 15, minus my first x, 6. So 575 minus 305 is 270 over 9, and 27 divided by 9 is 3, so add a 0. And then this is the critical thing. This is the most important part of the whole problem, is labeling your rate of change. And remember what I said, it always has to have the word per in it. And it's always y per x. And until you get used to it, just write it every time. Y per x. So that leaves us with total spent in dollars. So we could say dollars per x is month. So what have we just found? Who's the person? 6 months after you joined a gym. Okay, so this is our gym membership every month. So by finding the slope, you're finding out what you're paying every month, how far you're driving every hour, how much the tree's growing every year. So it allows you, once you know what the monthly rate is, to fill out a T-table or do other things with that. So that's how fast your spendings are growing. Every month, another 30, another 30. So 30 the first month, 60 total the second month, 90 total the third month, 120 total the fourth month. Okay, so let's write a sentence about this. So I am paying $30 per month for my gym membership, because it says average rate of change, but using that word in this kind of problem is weird. So just tell what it is per month. So I am, let's write it a little less. So the monthly membership at the gym is $30 per month. That sounds a little bit better rather than saying I am paying $30 per month. So that's a little bit more generic. So the monthly membership at the gym is $30 per month. So now go on your last sheet and cross out 30. And then the sheet behind that, cross out dollars per month. And you'll have 2 boxes crossed out of each one. So 30 and dollars per month. Okay, so I'm going to end the video now, and I want you to try the next 6. And remember, just looking back if you're not sure you got it right, and don't forget when you're writing your order pairs, time is first, whatever else is second, because some of the problems coming up don't give them to you in the right order. So I'm just giving you a hint there, okay? Okay, see you in the next video.